Why did you tell him to come get me?
Mike's got a bit of a peaked head. I mean, honestly, we don't want to put him on.
It's not my turn. I'm this in the club.
No.
Sorry.
We don't want Mike because he's got kind of a peaked head.
He powdered it this morning.
Everybody, it's Farrell with Crowd Surfing down here at the Newgate Mall for the HOSTLERS Model Railroad Festival. You know, used to do it at Union Station. We're doing it at the Newgate Mall this year. A huge area. Plus, it's free for the public to come down. Come on down and check out the Model Railroad show, all the vendors. Let's go in front of my friend Mike and irritate him a little bit. Excuse me, sir. Well, what I want to call you and what I did call you is two entirely different things.
You know, that's a two-way street, too.
So what's going on? Why are we at Newgate Mall?
We're here at Newgate Mall, and we won't go into why, but
we just are.
We just are, and we had to change venues this year to last minute, and we threw this together, and it has turned out beautiful. The people like it because everything's right here basically in one spot. We have vendors in all these stores and that one over there. We have layouts here and in there and in this room, and it's just, and we've had a tremendous crowd. Yesterday was just, couldn't believe it.
Alrighty, can I get your name?
I'm Deb Zucker.
And Deb, what is it that you're doing down here today?
Well, we brought our inventory to the train show. We're selling to the public this weekend all the crazy train nuts that are here.
Ooh, will that make you a crazy train nut?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it? Alright, can I get your name?
I'm Paul McCarty.
And Paul, what is it we're doing down here today?
This is the HOSTLERS Model Railroad. It's a part of the National Model Railroad Association, and we've got railroaders from all over the Wasatch Front. And ours is the Wasatch N-Scale Club.
When I walked in, because I walked in on the other side of the mall, I was like, there's nobody here until you get just right there by the movie theater. And that's when everyone shows up.
Yeah, that's right. And we did the same thing yesterday. We were standing here and we thought, wonder if anybody's down in the other end of the mall. So we thought, especially in the food court, okay? So I said, well, I'm kind of hungry. I'll walk down there. It's like normal. There's a few down there, but I got my pretzel. I had a cookie for breakfast, a pretzel for lunch, and a glass of beer for dinner last night.
Well, you got the place over there to get drinks. You didn't got to leave.
No. In fact, my wife, you know, she's already told me she's going to move my bed over here.
Well, I don't blame her. I'll help her. Where are you from?
We're from Nebraska, a small town called Deschler. We are Spring Creek Model Trains.
So do you just exclusively do trains? Is that all you guys do?
Yes. Yeah.
And so do you have like a website or a Facebook or anything?
We do. We've got a website, springcreekmodeltrains.com, and that's the same for our Facebook page. So be sure to follow us if you're interested.
I know different scales are different sizes. What is it about the N scale that appeals to you as opposed to HO or the great big ones?
When I was little, I started out with the Lionel, the big ones. And then, during my teens, I went to HO. But when N-Scale came in, there's so much more. As you can see, we can put a lot more in a limited space. If we did this in HO, it'd probably take up another half of the mall down there. But N-Scale is a lot smaller, plus you can get things more refined.
What vendors do you guys have here? The same ones? Any new ones? Any interesting?
We have the same normal vendors we always have, but just what we had to do moving into a little smaller space than Union Station, we had to tell the vendors you're going to have to cut back a little bit in the number of tables you have. So we basically have the same old vendors. They just don't have as much stuff as they normally do. Some do. Some vendors have more.
So I have a question, actually. I just thought about this, where, model railroads, a lot of people are at home. With the COVID thing, everybody's at home now. Has that hurt or helped your business at all?
It actually helped us quite a bit. We got our online present active for right ahead of when COVID hit, and
So just in time, huh?
just in time, and it was a blessing. We really did well through it. And we're having a great weekend this weekend.
Each member of our Model Railroad Club makes their own module. And mine is, these two are mine. This is the South Portland Coast Guard Station along the coast of Maine. And then this one represents New Hampshire. There's two places that I absolutely love. Right along the coast of Maine, and then I love New Hampshire in the fall. So putting us together made sure that all of the homes and houses and buildings are authentic to that particular period.
We started out at Union Station, we had 29 vendors signed up, taking 155 tables.
Wow.
And when we ended up here, we ended up with 23 vendors taking 100 tables.
So not a lot smaller, but...
No, not a lot smaller, but we're thinking maybe, a year or so ago, the mall went on the auction block, and it's a paper shuffle. All they do is buy it themselves, but we're thinking the next time that we might buy it.
By the whole mall?
Oh yeah, just buy the whole mall and turn it into a big train show all year round.
You got one hell of a model railroad in the mall, couldn't you? That's a good idea. So do you go to a lot of the model railroad shows? You guys are always at the HOSTLERS, right?
Yes, we are. And we travel, David and I, and we average 40 to 44 shows every year. So
Busy.
we're on the road a lot.
All righty, well, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
When you're working with model trains, especially N scale, 20% of it's the railroad. 80% is the diorama.
So how much time would you have into, say, just this module right here?
Probably about 8 months.
Oh, really?
Maybe working at maybe about 2 or 3 hours a day, after work or before work. And it's all, you start off with a piece of plywood, then you have styrofoam, and then you work with a lightweight plaster, and you start molding.
Sounds like a lot of work, so don't call me to help.
A lot of work.
All righty, well,
It might be a lot of money too.
yeah, well, it's just money.
Yeah, that's true.
You got a credit card, you just charge it, no big deal.
Yeah, that's right. I think I got two credit cards I can use, half on one and half on the other.
It's funny you talk about that. I'm looking for a co-signer, actually.
Are you?
Yeah, you want to go over and get me a new truck? Or?
I'd find somebody.
All righty, well, hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Okay.
You're not going to shake my hand? You're too good to shake my hand?
No, I don't want to. Okay.
I don't blame you. All right, most people don't. Can I get your name?
Matt?
Matt, and what is it that you're doing down here?
Nothing.
Nothing? That's the best way. You know what? Mike said the same thing.
No, we're building this layout. It's going to be a permanent layout here for Hostler members to come and run, and hopefully we can make it so other folks that may not have a layout at home, they can bring trains down here, rent time kind of thing, see what we can do with that.
Obviously, there's been a lot of mistakes where I've taken off some, put down others, and then I had the blown up pictures. These are actual pictures for the backdrop, and then you try to blend this. One particular thing was a big challenge for me was this. This particular picture I got had the river coming through, so I needed the river to match. That was a challenge, but I think we were able to succeed.
Hardy, can I get your name?
Mike Cunningham.
And Mike, what is it you're doing down here?
We are buying and selling model trains.
So like all these yours?
Yes, they are. These tables right here.
How on earth do you acquire so many model trains?
It takes quite a while, and to be honest, it's you just look for purchases that you can buy and then turn around and resell.
We've got a lot of club members coming down here. We're laying the track right now. As soon as we get track laid, we'll get switches running and get it painted. And then right here we're starting to do some scenery.
Making a mountain. You know, it's incredible how much work goes into a layout. I mean, this is obviously huge and elaborate, but you wouldn't think about how much goes into building something like a model railroad.
It takes quite a bit of time. You know, it's we've been working on this almost a year, and that's from planning up through cutting material, getting the base down, and then laying the track and everything. So, you know, it'd be nice maybe in a year we'll have this pretty much complete. We'll see. But something like this takes a lot of time. There's a lot of detail goes into it, especially when you start doing scenery.
What got you into model railroading? What made you decide you wanted to do this?
When my grandfather gave me my first Lionel set.
And it went downhill from there.
Well, it actually went uphill, but then downhill, yes, downhill because you go from the O gauge down into the N gauge.
All righty, well, thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Was this
So how long have you been doing this for?
The train shows for about 8 years, but I've been collecting and running trains for a long time.
What is it about model trains? What is it that appeals to you?
Well, when I was growing up, we used to live by the tracks, and in Salt Lake, and that's where I got the bug from.
Always saw the trains
Oh
going.
yeah, they were right there, and it was part of the whole thing.
So it's down here at the Newgate Mall. Are people able to come in and just look around and watch what you're doing, or is it closed? How's that working?
We're open Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, and then it's open. People come in, ask questions, and see obviously how we're making progress. And if they're interested in building the layout, then of course they can see how we do it and ask questions on what stages you go through.
Very good. All righty, well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and you go over and smack Mike upside the head for volunteering you to do this.
There you go. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thank you. All right, can I get your name?
Sure, I'm Ryan Harris.
And Ryan, what is it that you're doing down here today?
So I'm with the Utah Lego Users Group. We're an adult fan of Lego. We're ambassadors for the brand. We're all, it's just a club that likes to build with Lego, and we got invited down. So this is a train show, but it's train and Lego, so it doesn't get any better than that.
No, for sure. So do you by chance happen to remember the first train you ever got, like a first set or anything?
Oh yeah, it was a very old Tyco, very inexpensive in the 1969 or 70 train set, and a long time ago.
I remember you'd look at the Sears catalog, and you circle all the stuff you wanted, all the railroad stuff you wanted, or the slot car stuff that you wanted.
Absolutely, yeah, that's true.
I get yelled at by my mom for drawing in her book.
Oh no, that's not a good deal.
All righty, well, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with me.
You bet, thank you, appreciate it.
All righty, can I get your name?
I'm Josh Reynolds.
Josh, and what is it that we're doing down here today?
We're exposing the world to the awesome hobby of model railroading.
So how long have you been involved with Hostlers?
Just 4 years.
And you're already the train master.
Long story.
Is that what it is?
No. We had our old module coordinator. They're the guys that arrange the setups and the schedules and everything for the members to be able to run and set up everything for each one of the festivals that we do. He had retired. He had done it for 8 years. He's like, I am tired of doing it. I don't want to do it anymore. I made the mistake of asking a question about what does this job entail? And they're like, oh, it's easy.
Let me show you.
Yeah, it's super cool. And somebody nominated me, and I got railroaded into the job, and so here I am.
So how did you get involved with Lego?
When I was 3 years old, my mom bought me my first set because she was having my baby brother and needed me to get out of her hair. And so I've stayed in it ever since. Got kind of crazy when my kids got into it. And just it's been a lot, since 1978 I've been playing, building, collecting.
So with the trains, these sets are from different people in the club that's put together, or is it the whole thing owned by one person?
No, so this is a collaborative build. We've got about 60 people in our club. 15 of them or so collaborated on this. Everybody's got their niche.
All right, can I get your name?
Brad Justinson.
And Brad, dumb question. What are you doing down here today?
We're just playing with trains.
Yeah, so these are HO scale, am I correct?
Yes, they are.
I finally learned something today. So how long have you been involved with trains?
Since I was a kid. I mean, yeah.
So how long have you been involved with Hostlers?
I've been involved with the Hostlers since they started back in around 88, 89. I didn't really join the club until much later because I travel a lot for work, but I joined up and just stuck with them as often as I'm home. I'm with them. So
This is unique. We've never done anything like this with the space constriction.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just noticed the bird flying.
Yeah, so there's it's a slow clock motor down in the bottom. There's a wire that feeds up to it, and it goes around in a circle.
Birds flying, that's cool.
Yeah.
So how long have you been building model railroads?
Since I was a kid, and I never got involved in a club or anything like that. I was in the military, everything like that. I didn't have time. And when I finally got the opportunity to join, I came down and joined at one of the festivals that was down at Union Station years ago, and been loving it ever since. I volunteer all the time. I work in the museum. I work with the layouts. I inspect these to make sure they're ready to go for each festival, and have a lot of fun. I love this hobby. It's a blast.
So we got space trains. We've got Harry Potter trains over there, pirates down on the end. Everybody's got their kind of passion. He's really into mosaics, so you can see here he's got all this artwork. So there's just so much you can do with Lego. It's so versatile.
It is. So what is your specialty, your favorite?
I like to build city and town, and then I like to make the minifigures move. So if you look at all the motorized stuff on the end, where they're bouncing around.
I'll have to go over and look because I can see it down there from here.
So that's what I do.
What is it that appeals to you about the hobby, about the model trains?
anything in miniature just fascinates me, especially if it has detail, accurate detail, and things like that. I'm just fascinated with building something small that replicates things that are big, full-size stuff, and it's just fascinating. Then, of course, the operation of it, the movement and operating them, and lights and fascinating stuff, you know. Motion and lights, it's like anybody's interest, I guess.
And it keeps you out of trouble, right?
Absolutely.
Or in trouble, I guess, depending on what you're involving yourself in with the hobby, right?
This is true.
By some big expensive train, you might be in trouble.
Right, yeah, well, expense is definitely part of any hobby anymore, but this is not getting any cheaper. And that's why we have the museum now, you know, to be able to create access to people that want to get into the hobby that may not have space at home to build a layout or the time or the money, but you can always collect a train.
Yeah.
Collect it one at a time, find the train that you want, buy that car, build up your train, come down and run it at our museum, have some fun, hang out with us. And there's always going to be somebody there to talk to you about trains. That's what we do.
For sure. For sure. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for talking with me. I appreciate it.
Hey, all right, thank you.
I've noticed that, like, the kids love the Lego setup. I mean, they like the other ones too, but it always seems like the Lego is the busiest.
Oh, absolutely. And I get lots of stories about all the collections they've got in their basement or up in the attic or whatever. It's fun.
In the attic? They don't do no good in the attic.
Well, I don't. Some of the moms are telling me, "Oh, I should get him out of the attic when my kid aged out." But I think the best part of being at the show is on this side. You get to see all the pig faces and fish faces on the glass because they just press their nose right up to it.
Yeah, they love it for sure. Alrighty, well, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
So, do you have a big layout at your house?
I've got I guess it depends on who you would ask. I'm in like a 10 by 10 bedroom home layout. Some people who aren't in the hobby would say that's a small layout, it's a compact layout. But if you ask my wife, she'd say, that's more room than she wanted to give me.
Yeah. Always. Girls ruin all the fun stuff.
Sometimes, but sometimes they can get into it and enjoy it. She's been very patient, which is good.
That's good. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for talking with me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for me down here at the Hostlers Model Railroad Show. If you get a chance, come to the Newgate Mall. They have a layout here. It sounds like it's going to be a really cool deal. So get a train, come over to the Railroad Museum, and run it. If you get a chance, come check out the Hostlers Model Railroad Show. It's always a good time, always great people, and a lot of fun.